Yeah, I was just about to get comfortable with the music and I just realized that, it is time to start and it's time to keep the ball rolling. We want to have a discussion on your career, your responsibility, your career, your choice. And we are taking charge of our own lives. That's the conversation we're going to have tonight. And I'm so excited to have part of East Africa on one table. And I'm very, very excited about it. And I look forward. I think one of these fine days I should start a TV station where I can have all these conversations all day. I don't know whether that, oh yeah, there's YouTube TV. Anyway, so my name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. I am otherwise known as moderator of choice. And you're tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. here on Zoom. We are also live on Facebook. The recording to this conversation will be uploaded on our YouTube channel on before the end of the week, latest by Friday. And you can go and catch up. We have done a lot, as in the information on our YouTube channel is information you would pay millions to actually access. We have hosted quite a number of subject matter experts. We have hosted quite a number of, we have held different discussions. And we are very, very excited to be doing this and to be in a position to actually have these conversations with you guys and with your support. So we want to appreciate you, our audience, for always making it here. We thank you, Tanzania, our new baby on the block. We are not very explored in Tanzania, but I think we are becoming a household name in Kampala. And of course, we here home in Kenya, we are a household name. So this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And of course, we do this in partnership with a number of organizations who have really been of support and have made sure that we are actually being able to maintain having a free session. It's not the easiest of things, and especially financial wise. So we have Stallion Construction Company. Stallion Construction Company, like the name spells, it is a construction limited company that deals with construction. If you wish to renovate your house, if you wish to subdivide your office, if you wish to do your interiors, if you wish to put up a building all together, then Stallion Construction Company do that for you. We have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solutions Services are a HR and training firm. They have been offering trainings on their LMS. LMS is learning management system. They have, I'm sure tonight we are also going to get a few offers from Mr. Frank Wambari. Thank you very much, Frank, for your partnership. We really don't take it for granted. Thank you for always making sure that our people are enjoying learning. And they also give certificates. So make sure you take advantage. They are also offering 20% discount for our followers who are Get It Right followers if you register to study with them. And their courses are not very expensive. So get in touch with us and we'll tell you more about that. We also have HRMPEB. HRMPEB is the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board. This is the examination board that offers CHRP. CHRP is Certified Human Resource Professional. If you wish to do your CHRP, by the way, this is open for all East Africans. If you wish to become a certified human resource professional by a body that is to be trusted, then HR and PEB are your people. If you're wondering where to start, please get in touch with me and I will be able to guide you accordingly. We have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute is a carpentry training institute. If you're wishing to study woodworking, if you enjoy working with your hands, if you know someone who wishes to take on woodworking, we are currently working on making sure that we're inclusive and trying to find a way to also engage those who have hearing impairments. But if you wish to take on the woodworking, please join us at Panessa Training Institute. We have WeClean. WeClean is a carpet cleaning company. They have a machine that cleans carpet within 6 minutes. So you don't have to worry about the cold season, the rainy season, or just the fact that you have visitors on coming in on Saturday and it's actually Thursday and you are not too sure about how your carpet looks, or you're afraid of hosting your visitors because the carpet, they might pour food or drinks on the carpet. That should not be a worry for you anymore because WeClean are there for you and they will deliver your carpets within 24 hours. We have Suluhu Mediation Center. Suluhu Mediation Center are trainers in mediation. They actually, it's run by Mr. Maina, who is a court annexed. mediation expert. I am a certified professional mediator, and I did mediation with Suluhu. That is one of the fun classes I have taken in the last 5 years, Yani. But I did it within 1 week, and now I'm covering my hours to make sure that I'm keeping up with the points. It's really an awesome thing, and especially for HR professionals, if you wish to now expand your knowledge. And we're going to ask these questions because we are just not going to be stuck doing one thing. Even how you conduct your hearings, if you're a mediator, then things are very different. We also have Profiles International. I call Profiles International the people. By the way, Vicky, you need to just put that as your tagline. You are the people. They do psychometric assessments. They do personality assessments. They also do Genos Emotional Intelligence certification. So if you are here and you wish to become a Genos certified emotional intelligence coach, then Profiles International are the people you look for. And then we have Kapula Mintito sell coastal goods. If you're looking for Mabuyu, if you're looking for cashew nuts, if you're looking for Simos gel, then Kapula Mintito are the best. They do deliveries all over the country. This is in Kenya. We have Elsamea. If you're ever in Kenya and in Naivasha and you do not know what to do with yourself, please go to Elsamea and just enjoy a cup of tea and the tranquility of the place. If you also wish to take bikecation, solocation, workation, whatever cation that you wish to take, then go to Elsamea. It is so beautiful, so serene. The tranquility in that place, my God. I want to go there all the time. I did an episode there, I think a month ago, and it was really awesome. You should go. And then we have Purpose. Purpose is a technology company. If you're looking for an ERP, then you need to get in touch with Purpose. And of course, we have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is run by our partner in Uganda, Mr. Herbert Zake. Herbert, thank you so much for always sharing our flyers. Thank you for making sure that we are spreading the gospel of growth, or changing the world. We get it right. We are on a mission to change the world through information. And thank you, Herbert Zake, for making sure that we are spreading our flyers across Uganda and within all your networks. We appreciate that. And then, of course, we have an offer from Profiles International. This is the DISC assessment. Last time, Ajal had to tell me how to pronounce consciousness. I am still doing that practice, by the way, Ajal. Yeah, so DISC assessment is a personality test that you get to take. It really gives you a comprehensive report of who you are, how you work with people, and how the other people show up in your life, and how you can manage different tips. It's really teams. It's really quite interesting and quite comprehensive. Please take advantage of the offer. It's going for only 6,500. And just, by the way, if you take this, you become a better manager, you become a better spouse, you become a better parent, you become better you. Just brings out the good version of you. And then, of course, we have the CEO State and HR Dinner Converge Round Table Conversation. This event is happening on the 2nd of June here in Nairobi at Kempinski. This is going to be one of the biggest events of the year. Please do not be left out, because we're going to have CEOs and HRs and state leaders in one room, and we're going to be discussing culture and talent optimizations for organization competitiveness and national economic development. So if you're in Nairobi, please make sure that, or not in Nairobi only, just if you're anywhere, please come for this conversation. It's happening on the 2nd of June from 2 p.m. and it's going to be lit. If you can see the flyers, I mean, we have quite some profiles, high profiles. It's going to be a high profile conversation. And of course, yours truly will be there as a moderator of the panel discussions. And then, yes, of course, now this is actually the event of the year. Wacha sasa tuseme. This is the event of the year. We are having a road trip. We are going to Sagana on Saturday the 8th. And this event is going to start at 2:30 p.m. This week, we are going to release our theme. We are very excited about this. It's about time we leave Nairobi and just go and enjoy learning, networking, have an awesome dinner. If you wish to spend the night, you can. If you wish to come back to wherever it is you wish to spend the night, you can. But this is going to be an afternoon of learning, networking, and lots of fun. So make sure that you book your space. Do not be left behind. All right, and of course, for more details, we are going to share as we go along. Yes, they have Shakashata, Jacinta. So right, this evening, we are celebrating the International HR Day, and with us are professionals in the field, and more so we have experts, let me call them that. And also we have a coach with us who will also unpack for us some of these things. But allow us to start off, maybe you can introduce yourself, a brief introduction, and also tell us the question of the day. Who is responsible for your career growth? And maybe we can start off with Yusuf.
Thank you so much, Grace, and good evening to you all listeners from all over the world. This is Yusuf Saleh. I'm a HR expert, sustainability and strategy advisor. I'm currently the Director HR and Admin at the Business Registration Service. This is a state corporation under the Office of Attorney General. I also serve in IHRM, that is the Institute of Human Resource Management in Kenya, in the CPD and Membership Committee. Today, it's a privilege to have this conversation. I don't know, this is the second time, I think, Grace, if I'm not wrong. And it's really timely topic to discuss on HR career. I believe we have a mix of audience here, and everyone is keen to hear about the question you've asked. So for me, it's your call as an individual or as a leader, and to proactively seek ways of finding fulfillment in your career. So you are the one to take charge of your career. As Warren Buffett says, the best investment is in yourself. So as a leader or as an individual, you have to invest in yourself as you try to build your career. I don't know if I stop there, Grace, or I can continue.
No. Let's give an opportunity to meet the other Grace from Tanzania. And Grace has promised that the Swahili she drops here will be that one that we can understand.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name's Grace Kawogo. An experienced HR from Tanzania. I've been in this industry for quite long, for more than 10 years now. So I'm glad to share with you what I've learned. And I work as a operations manager with one of wildlife conservation organization, but in it, I also perform HR duties as part of my day-to-day activities. Oh, coming to the question that you are the one responsible, who is responsible for your career growth. To me, I can say 90% of your career growth is supported by yourself, and maybe 10% is supported by the external forces. So you are responsible for making sure that you reach your career, you plan for your career, what you want, where do you want. So it's yourself to do that and to prepare yourself and to make your career ladder growing day to day. Is that okay, Grace? Should I add more? I have a lot.
I mean, that's fine. We're just going to come back again. And we have Ajal, who is standing in for the HRs in Uganda. And of course, he's also a coach. So he's wearing both caps tonight. Ajal, I wish if you could introduce yourself and tell us who is actually responsible for our own career growth.
I want to start off by apologizing because my video is not on for now. Grace, you know what's happening in the back end. So a sincere apologies to all our listeners and our viewers from around the world, especially around East Africa. My name is Joseph Ajal. At the next segment, you'll probably see my video on because by then I would have made it to a place where I have good lighting and you're able to see me. So Joseph Ajal is my name. I'm a certified professional coach. I wear the hat of a human resources practitioner as well. And in the HR space, for the last 12 years, I've spent the better part of my career developing my skills in talent development. So anything to do with talent development, anything to do with mentoring, coaching, anything to do with leadership development, anything to do with organizational development is my forte. I love doing those kinds of things. And I believe that I am truly in my calling right now, that I'm doing what I ought to be doing at this time in my life with this amount of resources that I have, bequeathed unto me by divine providence. And I'm truly, truly grateful to be in great company of fellow leaders in the HR space and other aspects of business, other business captains of industry. Who is responsible for your development, for your career progression? Without a shadow of doubt, you yourself. So oftentimes, especially in the junior parts of people's career, they tend to have the mistaken assumption that it's my manager, it's my supervisor, it's my team leader, it's my boss who is responsible for putting me at the next level of growth. But that leader of yours can only identify your potential and bring it to the fore if you yourself are equally driven. If you put yourself out there to be noticed, if you're playing at the peripherals of the game, so to speak, then you will not be noticed. But if you're playing at the center, at the whirlwind, in the center of the action, in the eye of the storm, you will be noticed. You will be picked out. You will be put into positions where they'll train you. They'll, develop your skills. You have an attitude towards learning. You are hungry. Steve Jobs said, stay foolish, stay hungry. It doesn't mean being foolish in the literal sense. No, being foolish in the sense of you are hungry for knowledge. You're a lifelong learner. You're a lifelong student. You want what's best out of life, and you go out there and pursue it with all the gusto and aggressiveness in the world. And the universe will align itself to support you. So in a nutshell, that's what who is responsible for your career. What else do I do? I support with a number of activities. As you very well know, some of you on this call, in fact, most of you from Uganda are members of the Human Resources Managers Association of Uganda, HRMAU. You know that I served HRMAU for 4 years as the Secretary General. We supported in writing the bill, the HR bill. We hope that it will eventually become passed into a law by Parliament, and then it becomes just like IHRM Kenya as an Institute of Human Resources Management. I also teach. Some of my time I spend teaching at the University of Strathmore, which those of you who live in Kenya, you know Strathmore University Business School, Ole Sankale Road, that is the campus. But I spend almost all of my time in the Kampala campus. Nairobi campus is by association, but I am associated and affiliated with Strathmore University Business School as adjunct faculty. I think at this point, I'd like to turn back the microphone to Grace of Atara Solutions to carry on to the next segment.
Thank you very much for that, Ajal. And I'm listening to all of you and I'm thinking, okay, fine. So it is my responsibility to actually grow my career. But here I am, and I was listening to a lady today, and she was saying that, Grace, I was hired as an HR, but I am being pushed to do customer service. And I just want you to speak to that change. What do you think? Should she quit and go and do, I have no idea what, or should she stay? And I know I'm speaking for a lot of people on this call, because some people want to, like, I can tell you, if I show you my LinkedIn and my inbox, it's Grace, I am in an organization, I don't practice HR, or Grace, I want to go into HR, how do I maneuver that? And I'm sure you have also experienced this. But let me ask you, what do we do? Because we have the bills to pay, we have the HR to grow, and we also have our own selves to get things done. So what do we do? And we can start with you, Yusuf.
Thank you so much, Grace. This is for any HR in the room. These are more the questions. I mean, the concerns that are brought by employees in institutions. There are those who will go, maybe they are, by the time they are employed, they are on carrying on their studies, doing some training or course. Then they realize that I've now graduated and I want this role. So we receive a lot of, should I mention, is it not really a grievance, but some concern, requests and all that. I mean, many people would want to be where they think they should be. But just to respond to your scenario this morning, Grace, it happens to, I'll take it back to the onboarding. What we are not doing as HR professionals and also as mentors or leaders in our respective institutions is that we are not preparing the people who are coming in the workspace. You realize that that is what is lacking. Where people don't understand that it's a journey. You have to start from point A to point B. And I wish I was that person, because very few organizations think about ensuring that their new recruits, the new talent that have been onboarded, to understand the business model, or even to understand the culture of that organization. I know for people who've worked in banking industry and insurance, you'll have to start with a cashier. That is normal, so that you understand how things work. In case of any shortfall, you can hold for. So for me, I think it's an opportunity for you to get to have exposure to the different departments in an institution. I remember when I was starting my career, I started as an account clerk, where I worked in a finance department, just writing requisitions. Those days we are still doing manual checks and all that, doing filings and all that, until the point now I found myself in the HR space, and then I started as a HR generalist. And even in HR, I was not like did pure HR, the heavy HR that people talk about nowadays, talent development, training and all that. We started with those basic things to understand how the organization operate. And this one I'll need to, it's not even only for the fresh graduates or the entrants. We're seeing this challenge to even the people who are already in their can I say, in their mid-level career, people who have worked for many years, but they still don't understand why. And if I can pick a word from Ajal, what Ajal said, you see, you have an opportunity, and if you do well, you will be noticed in an organization. And there's a reason why a leader or your supervisor will want you to sit somewhere. Because when you're a leader, you're looking at the organization from the top with the bird's eye view, so that you see who can do what and where and when. So for me, and those people who are here, and you think you feel that maybe you're not doing the right thing, if you are starting, for instance, as Grace, you've said, you have to pay bills. What is it that you need to do? First is to say, okay, I'm starting off, I've just applied for this position. I did HR, which many people think when you do HR, you have to do HR. Then you expect to be in a HR department, maybe the one dealing with all those HR related things. But here there's an opportunity, maybe in the customer care, and they want someone who can hold that role for a period of time. And what we are seeing is the changing in how organizations are operating. By the time your probation period ends, exactly we know what are the strengths of this candidate, what is it that he can do, what is it that we can work on. And that's why it's important when you join an organization to be humble. You swallow your pride. You just learn with the organization. You assume you are learning and you're starting, so that by the time you finish your probation, at least you are resourceful, because you understand all corners, all the processes and the things, how things work in an organization. Grace.
Thank you very much. There's Kathy M who says, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. That's a quote by Oprah Winfrey. I think that is what you were alluding to, Yusuf. And at this point, allow me to switch on to Grace Kawogo. Now, Grace, we have had situations, or rather, it is, I think in Kenya, I'm not too sure how about Tanzania, but I think statistics may be the same. In Kenya, we have 65% of HR professionals are women, right? But only about 10 or 15% are actually in leadership positions. What do you think is the issue, and what do you think we can do about it? Grace, we can't hear you.
Okay,
oh, yeah,
thank you, Grace. It's Kenya. The percentage. Okay, I was saying the percentage might be the same in the level of HR people, HR professionals, and in particular for the leadership positions that are women. It could be the same, And the issue is maybe you find the team, the professionals, the HR professionals, are still trying to find themselves. Who am I?
Grace, your internet.
Maybe you can switch off the
Grace.
video, then we have audio. We can try that, Grace. Yes.
She's actually gone. But she's speaking. Wow. Okay. All right. As Grace comes back, Esther Kangada says, give women opportunities in leadership, empower them through training. Most organizations unintentionally deny chances to women. But now that Grace has been, but she's still here. Grace, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Grace.
Speak again.
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, you were still buffering, but maybe you can answer the question. We did not hear anything you said.
Oh, sorry for that. It's a network technology.
Yes.
Well, I was trying to say that the percentage of the number of HR practitioner in Tanzania and Kenya, perhaps in Uganda, could be the same because with the team that of the professional that are in HR, most of them we find they are not really HR, they have just find themselves in HR. So they just practice HR by experience, not by learning or from the university or college studies. So when they reach a leadership level now, you find themselves, they are not really, they don't have that passion of HR. So they're just practicing for the sake of practicing instead of understanding the team they're managing, instead of understanding the career growth of the people, instead of supporting the people. And that's why you find it's a bit difficult for them to find themselves exactly what they are looking for, who are they here. In that scenario, now it becomes difficult, especially for women, to get themselves in the senior position, in the leadership position, because you find maybe they've been supported or just fixed to that position or just placed in that position, but their passion is not in HR. Their passion is somewhere else, but just because they're looking for a job, just because they want only the number of few women, just have that number that we have women in that leadership level. But in reality, they're not passionate, they are not grounded, their foundation is not in HR. Grace?
Right, so there's a bit of passion lacking with the HR professionals, and that is what Grace is saying. And I have seen a comment by Krista Eben, who says, I believe women should also earn the seat at the leadership table. We need to show what value we can add, and we will definitely be given the seat at the table. Well, that I agree. I don't know whether you have something to add to that question, Yusuf.
I think for me, most of these things you have to go for them, and you have to prove yourself that it's worth. Because our leaders or the managers will want to show, most of the leaders will want their teams to shine. That one is without no doubt, because if you're a true leader, you'd want to come to have your team shining, and at the same time, you also want to leave a footprint where people can see Grace was here, and these are the results. This is what Grace did when he was in the leadership. Because at the end of the day, look at talk about any leader. be it a politician or a man or a CEO or what people talk about after this person has left that organization is the team that is leaving behind. And I know we've talked about the issue of succession planning and all that, but at the bottom of it, at the end of the day, we are saying, if you're a true leader, you have to create more leaders that can come and fit in those roles. But coming to the question or the concerns that have been brought about, yes, indeed, we found ourselves. If you look at the history of HR, mostly in this part of the world, many of us came to realize about HR the other day. And it was about taking position. People are aligning themselves. And it's true what my colleague Grace is saying, that you find in some situation, because there's an issue of day, people want to show where we have a gender diversity and all that. So you find in some situation where people are placed in those roles, not necessarily because that's what they've done, but because of balancing. And we've seen the ripple effect of this. Many people have suffered. The profession we are talking about, HR today, is suffering, not because that we don't have capable people, but some of the people who started it, started in a wrong foot. So all is not gone. We are still working towards ensuring that HR thrives. And we are seeing even in Kenya here, Grace, you see, many of our HR now taking charge of big institutions, organizations as CEOs and all that. So it's not all is not in vain, and all is not lost. We're still working towards it. The issue is we have to stand to be counted. Are we ready for this? This is the question. It has happened and it's happening, but are we ready to take the seat? Are we ready to take charge of what we are supposed to do? And this is going a long way. To the seniors who are in this room, how many people are you mentoring? How many people are you holding their hands to be the people you would want to see in the future, Grace?
I agree with you, Yusuf. I think we're at a point where we actually need to raise our hands and just show up when these positions are actually put across. I like the comment by Paul Okwemba, and it's good to see you, Ajal. And Richard was missing your ties. Unfortunately, Richard, the ties are just going to be on the boat, not tonight. But so Paul Okwemba says, career opportunities are to be grabbed by actively working to position yourself to a position of advantage. Growth comes when you look beyond HR expertise to business expertise and eventually becoming a business advocate rather than a people advocate. I love that. That's a conversation I and Yusuf had over the phone this morning. And Joram says, passion is lacking in most situations. Some people practice HR by default, and that explains lack of career growth. But my question is, and Joseph says, I think opportunities are given to us as women. We should be confident in who we are and what value we add. We need to embrace continuous development and go for these opportunities. And Martin says, career development is in oneself, but sometimes company culture, policies, and working conditions here hinder career development. And I'm glad that, Martin, you brought that up, because I know, and probably Ajalu can where you're coaching a couple at this point in time, we have a lot of people who are stuck. They are like, I don't know what to do. I have bills to pay. I am not growing in this organization, or there's I was about to answer your question, but yeah, there's the they're just stuck. They want to grow in career, but they are stuck. What are some of the things people can do to unstuck themselves, if that is even English?
All right, that's a great question, Grace. And again, in our coaching space, we help a lot of people to come to the conclusion as to whether or not they are stuck, so to speak. Coaching helps you unpack things like you're at a career crossroads. You are unsure and uncertain about what next to do in life, not just in your career, but in your family, in your job. Coaching is holistic. That's why some coaches are referred to as life coaches, right? Not just as executive coaches, not just as career coaches, not just as business coaches, but in fact as life coaches. Because coaching, by its very definition, is a partnership. It's a dance between the coach and the client, in which a heightened state of awareness is created. So the first order of business is you want to create a heightened state of awareness of yourself. You as the client. You've got to understand yourself as well as you understand the back of your hand. Once you've done that heightened state of awareness, then what do you do with it? You move it into a space of action. You do something about it. Now, if you realize that you started off your career as an IT specialist, but you're very, very, very good in building systems, and one of the systems you've built is an HR information system, maybe you belong in the HR department. It doesn't matter if your bachelor's degree is in IT, just do an extra diploma, do a certification in HR, and find yourself in that niche position where you truly are adding value. Or perhaps in the case of the question that Yusuf alluded to shortly before, you find yourself trained in human resources, but they have appointed you to go into sales or commercial. That's a blessing. It's a great blessing because you are going to become a T-shaped leader. You're going to move. When I say T-shaped, let me use my fingers to describe. So this is your typical T, your up part of the T, and then your bottom part of the T. So for those who play basketball, you know the sign. This sign means a technical foul, right? Technical foul. So this is a T. When the umpire or the referee says this to you as a player, he says it's a T. So this is a T shape. So the across is the wide part. And then the lower bottom part is the depth. Now assume that you want to be a CEO. No matter how great you are as an HR leader, those skills are not enough to make you CEO. So you're basically deep, in other words. You're a very deep person. In other words, you're good at your HR. It's a siloed, very highly skilled and technical area of expertise. Nothing wrong with that. But what got you here will not get you here. So the difference is you've got to be able to understand what happens in sales, in marketing, in production, in customer experience. No longer even customer service, it's customer experience. In finance. If the finance person, if the CFO is presenting his ExCo report, do you switch off and go to your cell phone to check on WhatsApp because you don't understand EBITDA? If he's speaking the language of EBITDA, top line growth, revenues, bottom line, cash at bank, and so on and so forth, P&L, he's presenting his P&L, his profit and loss account. Are you switching off because you don't understand? That means there's a problem with you. So you cannot expect as a leader to take off on the HR runway and land on the business runway. It doesn't work like that. You've got to take off on the business runway to land on the business runway. Otherwise, you'll end up sounding what? HR-ish. You sound very nice and highly educated in your HR speak and HR language and jargon, but nobody else in the board cares. Nobody else. You're giving us reports that are very HR-ish. You're telling us about the staff attrition levels, great. You're telling us about the number of joiners we had in last quarter, fantastic. You're telling us about the number of people that have been trained, perhaps in a specialized skill like the balance scorecard, excellent. Can you please draw the line between what you're doing and the business? How does it affect the bottom line, period? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much we love each other, which we do, by the way, if we're not making money, we're not making profits for the shareholders, we have nothing like bonuses or even salaries. In fact, the company could close. It could even be at a risk of not being a going concern anymore. So that's the job that the HR business partner should have in the entity, to become more of a T-shaped leader. So thank your God, thank your mentor, whoever it is that has appointed you to that space. Commercial, sales, production, anything, do everything, do it all now. You have time, you have like 5 to 10 years to get to the executive spaces. Once you're already an exec and you've not mastered these bottom line skills, you will forever be sidelined for the CEO position. You'll never be appointed CEO, or you might not be appointed to a board, because the board to provide oversight means you understand the business like the back of your hand.
Ajal, you're dropping them like they're hot. Yusuf, you feel like speaking.
Yeah, yes, I love this conversation. And you know, the word stuck, somebody typed on the chat and say that stuck is the correct word. The first question you should ask yourself, why are you stuck? I mean, why are you stuck? And if you're to choose between being active and passive, you should choose active. And you should treat your career as an entrepreneurial mindset, where you want to ask yourself, where is the opportunity for me to thrive? Where can I make value? Where can I make more for myself? So this issue of being stuck is a mindset. And I think we need to unleash this. And for coaches who are here, I've seen Coach Mathangani and Ajali is also here. What are we doing? I mean, we need to coach people. It's all about the mindset. And there's this, for any true or successful leader will tell you, they start with 2 beliefs. That one, the things will be better than today. And I'm the one in charge of all these things. So as the person who is stuck, in quotes, I know nobody's stuck, Grace, let's first agree that. Nobody's stuck. It's just a choice. People have decided and have put in their mind that I'm stuck. And you see, once you believe you are stuck, you're stuck. I remember when I was learning how to swim, I was told just go flat on your tummy and you'll float. And I did it and it worked. But you see, when you start looking at the water as deep, you not even, you can't even walk, walk literally, not swimming. So back to the issue of being stuck. I think it's high time that we have to have the self-belief that we can do this, that we can do better. We can look at things differently. And you can also look at what other opportunities are there in the organization that I can do. For most of people here, including you, Grace, don't know that I did finance. Nobody. In fact, I meet my former classmates, the people who are struggling with finance that ask me, Yusuf, since when did you become a HR? We know you as a finance guy. But you see, you look at just like an entrepreneur, you look at the opportunity. Then you try to see yourself, how do you fit in? And then you thrive. And I remember there's some time back when I was working at the university, there's one of these employees that we had, a very good accountant. This lady was passionate about kids. And I remember we had a program called ETW, that is Education Tuition Waiver, where the university would support its employees and dependents to undergo programs at the university. This lady decided to do psychology. And I remember it was a big, it became a big question. I mean, I was asked, Yusuf, why do you encourage an accountant to do psychology? And this lady, I tried to, every time I met this lady and asked her, why did you choose to do psychology? You're an accountant. You should have pursued accounting because this is what you have and this is what you know best. He said, Yusuf, that's not what I want. This is what I want. As we speak today, this lady is doing well, working with kids. He resigned for the position of accounting and she's good. She's doing well. What does that tells you? That you might be sitting on the, you are holding on something precious to you by not thinking and being open with yourself. And one of the ways we can do this also, just in conversations that you can have with your people. The problem that we are having and we are seeing in many organizations is this cahoots. People create to groups in organizations. I'm a HR, so I hang out with the HR people alone. I'm a finance person, I hang out with finance people. I'm an IT person, I hang out with the IT people alone. You see, you'll not learn, you'll not grow, you'll not see the good things from the other side. Where I work today, there's a gentleman in IT who always come to my desk and say, Yusuf, you know what? I'm also an HR. In fact, he said he's a HR intern. He tells me anything you want to do from HR perspective, but it's IT. Let me see, and we can work with you. We've implemented the ERP system together with this guy, and he's learning a lot of HR, which for me, it's an encouragement. In fact, I told him now you should be thinking to move from IT to come and HR and come up with better solutions to give to the HR community. So the issue of being stuck, again, for anyone who is in this call, please, from tonight, don't ever have that conversation with anyone. That I'm stuck, oh, there's no growth in my organization. These people don't think about me. I've been holding these positions for how many years? Come on, you can do better than this. Grace, let me stop there.
It's getting hot in here. Oh my God, Grace Kawogo, are you still with us? And Ajahn, as you prepare, there's a question on the so what. I believe that is what Nerea is asking, the so what aspect, but we are coming back to you. Grace Kawogo, hey, tell us. We are still on the
question. The topic is so hot, I like it. I just want to add on, Yusuf has said that there's no way you can say I'm stuck. It's just yourself, just your mind that is stuck. But you can do better, you can do more. It's just you try to find yourself. Where do I belong? What do I want? If I'm doing, I learned HR, but I'm doing customer service. What do I need to do more to be a better customer service person? What do I need to work more so that I can be a good customer service person? So you try to find a way that you can do better. You can leave the HR and do the customer service because you are good at, you have worked on it, and maybe your network is based on that level, that area of customer service. There's no need of you hanging on HR while you are doing customer service or while you are doing finance. While your background is HR. I can state my example myself. My experience in HR, but now I'm doing as a HR operations manager, doing finance, doing NGO compliance, doing grants management. I also do a bit of procurement and administration. Now you can imagine, but my background is on HR. So I said, okay, let me take this for learning purpose. Let me take this to have a wider knowledge, a wider choice, and I'm preparing myself, said it, to retire, but not tired, but at least I have a knowledge on every some of the professionals. So my advice to you, the audience in here, not just stick it to one area while seeing yourself you are not good at, while you have a professional or you have a career that you see myself doing better, or your career ladder is on that level, in that way. So it's not the matter of you hanging yourself somewhere, say, oh, I'm stuck, I'm not supported, I'm not pushed. It's yourself to unpack yourself, to find yourself where you belong, and you can do better, and seek support from people, from the senior people who are practicing that industry. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much for that, Grace. I think that is a very, very good contribution. And allow me to just chime in, because I happen to be a business leader and an HR at the same time. But there are three things that I have learned. And I don't know, Ajal, whether you remember this conversation. There's something that you need: mindset, skill set, and tool set. If you're going to get out of this conversation with nothing, just write in your notes or in your notebook or whatever it is you want to write. Mindset, and you need to take stock on your mindset. Do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, or what is your mentality in different situations? And then write about the skill sets. Take an audit of yourself. What are the skills that you have? What are the skills that are required for the position you're looking to grow? Because remember, we are talking about growth. And please note, we have agreed in this conversation that you actually own your career growth. You are responsible for your growth. It's not your manager. No, you are responsible for your growth. So you check out your mindset, check out your skill set, and also figure out your tool sets. What are the tools that you need? What do you need to equip yourself with to go on to the next level? So mindset, skill set, and your tool set. Those are three things that you actually need to position yourself for growth and or getting unstuck, or whatever it is that we want to talk about. But just going back before we forget that question, Ajal, since you talked about not just doing HR reports and just leaving them there, and Nerea asked the so what. I have summarized it into the so what question. So maybe you can also shed some light on that.
Okay, excellent question, Nerea. So one of the easier, I would call them low-hanging fruits that you can leverage as an HR professional in terms of your reporting is to master what we call HR metrics and analytics. Now, I know Brian Mutisya is on call here from HRMAU, and he's done a good job in pushing him and the director, talent development or people development at HRMAU, Andrew. They have pushed out the agenda of training the HR practitioners in Uganda on aspects of HR metrics and analytics. Now, metrics and analytics, by their very definition, is not very easy. You need to have a little bit of statistical knowledge, a bit of ability to do some modeling. And that's why you find some HR leaders have a very, very specialized skill in statistics, and their background is that. But I'm not saying that you should go out and go back and do a degree in statistics, no, or quantitative methods or economics. You don't need to do that. Just pick up the skill, go for the training. Once you've been trained in it, now your reports will no longer look wordy. You'll not have bullet points everywhere. No, you'll have dashboards. You'll have histograms. You'll have pictograms. You'll have charts. And in a summary, in just 2 or 3 pages and full of color and graphics, you're able to summarize what you could have written in a 10-pager. Because the truth of the matter is that the board is very busy. They don't have all the time in the world. Exco too. And unfortunately for us as HR practitioners, most of these corporate boards are staffed with people who are ex-finance, ex-sales, ex-engineering, or even present engineering, present sales, and so on, marketing. These are people who understand the numbers game. CFOs, they only understand one language. What's the bottom line? Full stop. What's the top line? But you're coming here with your nice stories. Yes, it was nice to build a creche. No doubt about it. It was nice to have a daycare center. Great. But what has it done for our staff productivity? Paint the picture, draw the connection, draw the dots. If it quacks like a duck, it surely is a duck or looks like one. But here you are talking mangoes in a boardroom where they're discussing oranges. You come off as very ill-equipped to be promoted to the next level. So you've not earned your stripes. You've not earned the right to sit at the dining table, so to speak. And therefore, there's one African who says, if you've not earned, in fact, it's Kenyan, I think is Professor P.L. Lumumba. If you've not earned the right to be around the dining table, then you've earned the right to be on the menu itself. You are the people, you're now the one being chewed and eaten up. Okay? Because you've not earned the right to discuss what are we eating tonight. Now you're on the menu, unfortunately. So the next time there's a restructuring, guess who goes first? Imagine the saddest bit is that you're an HR leader, you do a restructuring for maybe 50 people or 100 people. But at the end of it all, after you've handed everybody their letter, the CEO calls you to his office and says, or to her office and says, here is your letter also. You also follow them. Tafadhali, wafuate. Because you've not done your job. You've not proved your relevance, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. Prove your relevance. So Neria, the issue is find different ways of reporting value. And by the way, let your reports not just be about people and culture. Let it also be about revenue. Let it also be about profitability. Let it also be about sustainability. Let it also be about shareholder value. That's the kind of language that will earn you relevance, not for 1 year, but for 50 years. Of course, you're not going to work for 50 years. But what I mean by that is that the legacy you've left behind will follow you long after you've retired, long after you've left the scene of that organization and moved on to other things. Or better yet, it will position you for growth into other spaces. Now, there's a question in the chat I saw. What if the organization is too small and you feel stuck because of the physical location and space? There's no room at the top to grow. Who says, is there one organization in East Africa? Is there one organization in the world? No. There are several organizations, there are several career choices. What makes you think that you should work for one organization for life? Are you the founding managing director? Are you a shareholder? Maybe not. But even if you are, who says you cannot move on and do other interesting things with your life? So find other ways to recreate your career, to morph your career, to recreate the sigmoid curve. I wish I had a plate. I'm a lecturer, so I like to draw. I wish I could draw this on a flip chart. The sigmoid curve, let's say this is the x-axis. Sorry, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. That's the sigmoid curve. I use a lot of gestures in my teaching or in my explanations. So this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, right? The horizontal and this is the vertical. So you start off at 0 at the bottom corner here and you rise to the top. Now, inevitably, whether in relationships, whether in marriage, whether in schools, whether in your career, every one of us has to hit the plateau and begin to drop. Now, what happens? We call that a sigmoid curve. When you realize that you're beginning to drop, that you're beginning to actually maximize your career, you're beginning to hit the plateau of your career, it's the time to go to the top of it and recreate another sigmoid curve and keep rising the bar. When you realize you're about to hit another plateau, keep raising the bar. A typical example is an artist. Many of you might know this gentleman. Okay, he's called Diddy. He started off as Puff Daddy. Actually, his real legal name is Sean Combs. So Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Before you knew it, he was no longer Puff Daddy. He was Diddy. Before you knew it, he was P. Diddy. Before you knew it, he had gone back to. So he's recreated himself from a music producer to a clothing line producer and so on and so forth. The same can be true for you. You don't have to start off and die off in employee relations or talent acquisition. Within HR, you can be an HR business partner. You can be an HR metrics and analytics, HR metrics and analyst. You can be a talent development person. You can be a coach. Like I started off as an HR practitioner. Right now, I'm a coach. The last 2 years, I have been the president of ICF Uganda Charter Chapter. I've just finished my tour of duty like 2 months ago. So there's so many things. And then there's board. There are board opportunities. Today, we just got an announcement. One of our leading HR practitioners in the country has gotten her third non-executive director board appointment to a multinational corporation. And this is a lady who is very well known in the industry. Very humble, very hardworking, very eloquent. And she's not the only one. There are several other HR leaders in our profession here in our country, Uganda, who have risen to becoming board directors of top multinational corporations and even becoming CEOs or general managers. They're not many, but they're starting to, the numbers are beginning to trickle in and flow in. So they show us it's actually possible to morph your entire career. Grace?
Thank you, Ajal. And as we ponder onto all these nuggets, there's a question. And we are going to ponder on that question as I read a comment from Paul. Are business people part of the HR career? Are business people part of the HR career? I have no idea what answer there is to that. I think we are confusing people here. But Paul says attitude makes a big difference. Attitude can help in charting unfair career paths, learning, developing indispensability. You become indispensable. Taking on additional roles enhances indispensability. Additional roles expertise can include safety and health, trustee of retirement benefit schemes, social responsibility, etc. That is a comment which I thought should definitely be read out. And of course, I was looking for Madangani's, Coach Madangani's comment. He says, my experience demonstrates that most HR professionals got into HR with misconceptions, e.g., I love working with people because it's a soft area. Then reality strikes. HR must understand business and get out of comfort zones and self-egos that really get off career paths. I guarantee any HR here to take a challenge in their workplace of a different job, and you will advance faster than sticking in HR. Expand your knowledge of business. Most organizations make HRs over-specialized, and that's how we get stuck. I thought that was a really, really interesting comment. But back to this question, where are business people part of the HR career? Who wants to answer that one? Grace, we have missed you, and we can't see your face. Okay. Yusuf, maybe you can go. Yusuf?
Grace, yes, the question about business people being part of HR. If you study how work is done in an organization, you realize everyone is HR. Because one, there's an issue of people, there is the issue of productivity, there's something they're doing towards achieving, contributing contributing to towards one goal. And what does HR does? HR is supposed to ensure all these resources called people. You pull all these people together and ensure that the targets or the objectives are met. Why do you think we have targets or performance housed in HR department? Is because the assumption is the people who are now in HR, in quotes, understand how work is supposed to be done in an organization. So anyone, in fact, you realize how even our job is being taken away, if I use that word. Recruitment today is not done with the HR people. I mean, trainings are not done with the HR people. Performance are not done with the HR people. Compensation. So what does that mean? It means whatever we are doing, these are just pieces and pieces that have been brought together to a department called HR. And there's this person called HR who is supposed to ensure the utilization of these resources, time and managing them to achieve the common goal that the organization wants to have. The problem we've had for a very long time is to have HR not on the table, HR being excluded. And in many cases, it's HR people themselves excluding themselves. Because if there's a hard conversation, controversial conversation in an institution, HR people will not be there. In fact, if you talk to people here, they'll tell you, anytime there's a problem in an organization, HR is the word HR is used. If you are late, HR is going to take note of those people who are coming late. HR, you know, even we've been given, our names have just disappeared. People no longer know Joseph Ajal, Grace Nzula, Yusuf Saleh, but they refer to HR. We should ask ourselves, why is it that way? Why is it that we are not referring the IT people IT? I mean, finance people finance. We refer them with their names. I mean, there's something there. And the psychologists in the house will tell you, it's how you want people to see you. How you position yourself is how people will relate with you. The things you talk about more often is how people will, even the nickname when we were in school, that's how people acquired nicknames. Yeah, so that people can say, because of this is what we have. But the question is, for me, is everyone is a HR. You are a leader. You are responsible to contributing on the overall objective of the organization. So there's no, these are just titles, the same way you have brothers and sisters. We have Grace here, we have Grace Kawogo, we have Grace Nzula. But if you look at it, the characteristics of the things they're supposed to do, almost similar, but at a different time and space. Grace.
All right. And Ajal, there's a question by Damaris. She says, in instances where an employee is sharp and intentional about delivering excellence, but curtailed to grow by the misalignment of what gets rewarded, what can one do?
Wow, that's a really, really powerful question. Now, remember the first question you asked, Grace. Who is responsible for your career? It is you. Unfortunately, and sadly, I must confess, the vast majority of people will never hit their potential. Never. Sadly, it's just the plain truth. I hate to say, the vast majority of people in careers will never hit their full potential. There will always be an outlier. If you look at the bell curve of performance management, why is it the way it is? Because a certain group of outliers will be 10%, at most 20. And then the other 60 or so percent will be in the middle of the bell. And another 20% might be outliers as well in the bottom part of the performance curve, the bell curve. So you've got to realize, you've got to clue yourself into what truly makes you stand out. And these are very, very, I mean, Grace, you've sung about Profiles International until the chickens have come home to roost. These assessments, psychometric tools of assessments are free. Myers-Briggs type indicator, DISC, you know, Spark Sync, Clarity 4D, PDA, all these psychometric assessments, there are dozens of them, and there are some which are open source. Of the ones that I've mentioned, DISC is open source. Myers-Briggs type indicator, MBTI, also known as the Jung typology, is open source. Maybe Spark Sync might cost you $100. Maybe Profiles International might cost you something. I don't know. All I'm saying is you don't even need to go for the highest end. Do a psychometric assessment. Start off by understanding yourself. Am I an extrovert or am I an introvert? You want to develop your career in a space that requires extroverted energy, like PR and public relations. But you're so introverted, you can't even talk to your neighbor next door. You enter the office through the back door. You go back through the back door. No harm in that. You might just be a great strategic analyst, because to have the eye of an analyst, you need that high level of concentration without so much interference from people around you. Every skill is great. Every personality type is great. Just find it and plug yourself into it. Glue yourself into it and become the best version of yourself. That's number one. Secondly, find a coach. You don't have to have a certified professional ICF coach or John Maxwell coach or what are the other schools of coaching? There are so many. You don't have to. You can even start off with a friend who means well for you. You can have a mentor. Every one of us can have a mentor. What is a mentor? A mentor is somebody who replicates their career into you. Somebody whose example you learn from. And these mentors don't have to be in your physical realm. They don't have to be in your physical space. They may or may not live in Kenya or Tanzania or Uganda. They may even be on YouTube. They might even be on Twitter Spaces. But you listen to them regularly, you feed in on their content, and that way they are mentoring you at no cost except the cost of data that Safaricom or Airtel or MTN gives you, or Vodacom. So friends, listen, you have to find yourself. Number one, do a psychometric assessment. There are free versions, they are open sources, because you need to know yourself to grow yourself. If you're clueless about who you are, we call that the garlic effect. Have you ever eaten garlic with your sauce for lunch? Heavy amount of garlic. Were in Zanzibar recently at Marijani Hotel. They had quite a good amount of spices. So imagine you have a heavy dose of garlic in your stew, and then you've eaten garlic. Do you have to go tell people, guess what? I've eaten garlic. No, it's obvious. From your skin, it reports you the moment you walk into the room. Some of you are clueless about yourself. If you have an order, you don't even need to report it. People already know it. So the same is true for your own skill set. Some of you have an overrated ability, an overrated sense of hubris. You think you're all that, you're the best thing that happened after sliced bread. No, you're not. In Uganda, we say, you're not that great as you think you are. Please relax. Get over yourself. Come back down to earth. Get off your high horses and learn the basics of that trade. Once you've learned the basics, know what works for you, know what doesn't work for you. Find a mentor, that's number 2. Find a coach, that's number 3. Number 4, read some books. For goodness sake, there are free books on the internet. Open source, there are so many. You can even download an audio reading book, an audio app like Audible, where there are so many audiobooks, and for a small token subscription of $1, $1, you can get 10 books for $1. $1 is how much in Kenya shillings? In Uganda shillings, it's 3,700. In Kenya shillings,
it's 135 shillings.
135 shillings only. And you get 10 or 20 or 30 books that you can listen on in your car. Now, I was stuck. The reason why my camera was not on, I must confess, I was stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours from my office to my house here. That amount of downtime in traffic, you can turn on your Audible and listen to an audiobook. By the time you're reaching home 2 hours later, you've listened to a whole book or half of it. Friends, there is no dead time. You can't afford to have dead time. That dead time, use it to develop yourself psychologically, mentally, physically, intellectually. And guess what? If you're shining like a diamond in the room, every leader will be craving for you. They'll even be competing to promote you. I want that man in my department. I want that woman in my department. I want that person on my board. Do you know people who sit on like 10 boards? You even wonder where they find the time. But everybody is clamoring for their signature. We have a gentleman in Uganda here. He's called the Super Board Chair, Dr. Martin Alike. He's 95 years old, but he has sat on over 70 boards in his life, I suspect. Because every other year he's getting on boards, and he's had a long career. So listen, friends, we cannot exhaust this conversation in one conversation. We can't exhaust all the tidbits and pointers. This is why you need a coach. because a coach can coach you for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You need a mentor. A mentor can mentor you for 1 year, 2 years, 3, 5 years, and so on and so forth. We can't exhaust it in one conversation, but for goodness sake, clue yourself into what makes you tick. And once you align yourself, you put all your ducks in a row, success is the only way out.
Definitely. All right. And yeah, today my write-up said that we are starting at 8. I did not say we are finishing at 9. So wait a minute, just hang in there. Damaris, you actually read my mind. I was gonna ask about politics and the space it plays in our career growth. And before we get to that, there's something I had seen. So on a light note, should career growth be a serious project that gives us sleepless nights, or it's something that one should be enjoyable to approach and sail through the learning and unlearning? Yeah, Grace Kawogo, are you still here? Are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, somebody is asking, so is this career growth, I think we are stressing people. Let's give people hope now. Is this something that we need to give people sleepless nights, or can people just enjoy and approach it through learning and unlearning?
Okay, what I can say, now it's upon yourself. It's either if you want to have a sleepless night for your career growth, or you can enjoy learning and upgrading yourself. But for my advice from me is that you keep on learning and learning, because the learning has never ends. And when you learn is where you get more skills, you get more knowledge, you meet different people with a different knowledge, and where you can feel yourself in a better position. So I would advise you choose that way of putting yourself in the position that you are ready to learn every day, because things are changing. We get new skills every day. The technology is changing in doing things. And so for yourself, you better position yourself in the way of upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself, or reskilling yourself on what you are doing. So for the person that is just want to enjoy himself, that as you guys don't stress me, then it's upon yourself. Since the topic is your career is your responsibility. Now it's yourself to upgrade yourself, it's yourself to upskill yourself, learning from people, meet new people, learn from the senior people, learn, as Ajay has said, have your coach that will be taking you through, and you find yourself that you are moving from one stage to the better stage. That's what I can say.
Thank you for that, Grace. And there's an interesting question from Paul, and I think even Nerea alluded to it. Is HR becoming extinct in some sectors like hospitality industry? Ajal, and then Yusuf, you're coming to you with politics.
No, HR is not going to become extinct, but the way we deliver value in HR is changing. We're digitizing a lot. We're automating a lot. If your job is, for example, learning and development, and I have a very strong L&D background myself, right? I'm a trainer. You'll realize that increasingly we're using reliance on learning management systems, LMSs. Increasingly, we're using reliance on content developers who are not even HR people. These are just commercial people, wake up every day, like Harvard Management, and they develop dozens of courses. People like Skillsoft and SamTop, they develop courses. They develop 10,000 courses a year. Now imagine, can you compete with that? No matter how smart you are in content curation, those of us who are in the creative space, we are ABC, always be creative, right? Even if you stay up 16 hours a day or 18 and sleep 3 or 4 or 5, you're just destroying your health, your mental health and physical health. You're not going to be able to catch up with the speed at which the machines are working. These are people who are on a roster, on a payroll, to develop content, 10,000 of them a year, and it's a team of thousands of people. And the content is robust, it's video, it's graphic, it's animated, it's interesting, it's everything, it's text, all right? Pictures and so on, graphs. Now, the way to do this is to learn the technology that drives your industry. Make it your business to learn the technology. And in answer to the question about whether or not your career growth should become such a project that it takes out the fun, no, come on, live life, enjoy life. In Kenya, what do you say? Burudika kidogo, eh? Jibambe kidogo, Jienjoy, tafadhali, Make it fun. Don't be so uptight. Don't be such a I've run out of words to describe it, but don't make your career growth such something that sucks the life out of you, and now you become even difficult to get along with in your own family, your own partner, your spouse, your children. You become maybe even toxic, perhaps, because it's everything you do and talk about, and because you're so driven, you end up hurting people in the process. You become a narcissist. Don't do that. Have fun while at it, and time will definitely fly. 10 years comes and goes pretty fast, and before you know it, like, wow, it's been 10 years already, and you've not climbed and hurt people in the process, torn people apart. You've enjoyed the growth journey. Time has passed because you've been busy, you've been developing yourself, you've been adding value to others and to yourself. It should be fun, right? It should be fun. So.
All right. Thank you very much for that contribution, Ajal. And before we continue, we have giveaways from Frank. Frank is our partner who is from Pathway Solutions. And he is giving us a number of courses to apply for. So there's leadership and influence, there's emotional intelligence, women in leadership, managing workplace anxiety. And this is going to be offered for 3 individuals, each one, who gets LMS training. And then for companies, they get 1 training course. Winners must justify why they want their sponsorship. And of course, they must write to myself and to Frank. And so if you wish to get trained on the following, on the LMS is Learning Management System, where you're logged on to the system and then you get to enjoy. So that is the email for Frank. I put this on the chat and the courses that are on offer. So make sure you email Frank and copy myself and state why you deserve the sponsorship and also which courses that you're getting for free. Unfortunately, today Kevin is not available, so I'm manning both. Both he had said he'd come in, so I did not get support for Facebook, but nonetheless, we got to do this. So I have shared for the people on Facebook as well, the training offers from Pathway Solutions. So please take advantage and get that done. And yeah, Ajal, what is your email address or LinkedIn? Okay, he has shared that. Right, back to you, Yusuf. We are talking about career mobility and politics. What is the space of politics? Let me just stop saying that it plays a big role, because Ajal has just alluded to sitting in boards, and boards are political. I will not lie to you. So although it depends on which boards you're sitting on, but still. So should we get, I mean, what is the space of politics in career mobility? Let me just put it that. Because I was about to say, should we get involved in politics? Should we understand? Should we play politics? And I know this is really important for public service, but please tell us, what is the space of politics in career mobility?
Thank you so much, Grace, for that provoking question. I know many people would want, many people will tell, if you ask them, are you a politician? They'll tell you, me, I'm not a politician. If you, in organization, I remember when you ask people, people will refer those people who are opinionated to be politicians. They say, this guy is a politician. You know why? Because the description of politicians, people say, because this guy is authentic, this is somebody who will tell you on your face, no, and this is someone who will not want to be, dragged. But just to an occasion, Grace, politics is very important in organization. And when you look at politics, we're looking at power, 3 things: power, authority, and influence. Those are the things that will help you to move. I mean, to move from one role to another, to climb your, grow in your career. And when I talk about power, influence, and authority, if you look at how it's defined, you look at power and you ask yourself, what is it that you know? And there are people who are powerful, they are respected in organization because of their expertise. There are areas, the subject area, they are known. This guy knows this thing. So indirectly or automatically, they just earn that power. Where you are told, if there's something you're told, let's wait for Grace or ask Grace. Has Grace seen this? What is Ajal's opinion on this? So you find you come slowly, you start creating, developing power without even knowing, because of how you are doing, how you are performing your duties. And you know, it's a very important thing. That's how you stand out. I mean, among the people, they say, this guy, when he is in a project, you are sure it will be completed on time. And already you are creating, that is power you are having and influencing. So you have to work on these things. For those who think that politics are not important, they are wrong. You have to look at what is it that you're doing in organization? What is the value that you're creating to the organization? How best can you do this? And then now you position yourself. So that if you look at, and these things go they go simultaneously. You look at power, you look at influence to the people around you. And it could be the departmental level. You can even go, you'll be shocked. A very junior officer in IT, but is being respected because of his expertise and keenness. This guy is attentive to the details. He delivers, he'll tell you, he takes time to do things. So for me, you need those things. Communication, there are people who can communicate. They can convince. People have convincing power. They can talk to people, make them understand. So, and that's why I think Ajal was talking about communication skills. You have to work on your skills, your communication skills, your people skills. How do you connect with other people? The problem that we are facing today is that people are networking, but they're not connecting. I don't know if you understand that. I come meet Grace today and Ajal, we are friends. Yes, I've exchanged contacts. That's it. We've connected. Then the next thing is, are we connecting? The feelings. How do I tell if I meet Grace today, or even if it's on phone, can I tell how Grace is feeling today? You know, these are the things that we take for granted, but they go a long way. The moment someone feels that you are connected, it feels you are feeling this person. An opportunity comes, this guy also realized that Ajal is the right person for this because he's passionate about what he's doing. You can even hear the tone, the vocal, you know. And for those who are doing psychometric will tell you, where is the confidence? You know, there are people who will talk to you and they convince you. They'll convince you. There are people who even they're dressing, they'll convince you. Now you'll start seeing politics. No, it's not about politics. Is there, yes, but you have to position yourself. Among the group of 10 people, I've seen people who have been employed same year, but these people will grow differently. There are those who will grow even in terms of promotions. You'll find in a year or two, they've jumped 3-4 spaces, but there are those who are there. Why? Because there are those people who are not ready to say yes. They're not ready to play the politics of influencing people with their power, what God has given you, the talent that God has given you. You know, so we are scared of unknown. And then we end up talking about politics. You see, I'll be the dumbest person to pick that person who is not outgoing when I need, when we have a project that needs people who can be pushed. We want people who can convince our clients. You know, there are people who will come and sell to you. I always give back my feedback to these clients. I tell them, look, you're trying to sell me this thing, but you're not convincing me. What you're telling me is just obvious. I know. This one, even without you telling me, I know. Can you convince me? And you see, these are now the politics we are doing. You want to make the stars. You want to be the best person to hit your targets. That's a politics, because you want to stand out. You want to be counted so that when things come and people in the boardroom somewhere, they know Ajal is the man. There are people you are going with them in the meeting, you know, when I have Grace here, this meeting, we are good. But there are people, the opposite. You wonder, how did this person even grow to the level of a director or a manager? He can't even talk. I know you'll say there's a personality, oh, this person is not an outgoing person, but look, leadership, there's something called leadership. And I think this is something we can discuss at another session. But if you're a leader, there are things that we expect from you. That's why if a leader fails to do 1, 2 things, people will be quick to pick. They say, how does this person talk? Is he really the leader? Is he the manager? You know, so these are things that people try to hide behind the curtains. People want to not, you don't want to be seen that I mean, I don't, you know, you have to assert yourself. When you're making decision, people have to feel you. Grace, let me hold on.
I love this man, Yusuf. In Uganda, we say, Tokubienyo, haven't you hit so hard?
Right, yes, we are. Hey, this conversation, my friend, I am loving it. If you work in an organization where no performance management system, year in, year out, how do you exactly know if you are a performer? You even scared to look for jobs since no one says you do things right. Now this comes next Tuesday. We're actually discussing self-esteem, which comes with confidence, and for you, I probably would say you need to find a way to affirm yourself. Don't wait for validation from elsewhere. So long as you can even look for somebody who can mentor you, and you can always benchmark and just probably to build your own confidence. But the number one thing that you need to work on is actually your own self-confidence and your own method of what do we call it? Affirming yourself. And Grace Kawogo.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I don't know whether you have something to add on this one, who says that how do they know whether they are performing and no one ever talks to them about performance?
Yes, it's possible. You can still do your own assessment, an individual assessment, even if no one is assessing you, but you can still do it. This goes and this way. You have a target, and can you hear me? Grace, can you hear
me? You're buffering, but you're back now.
Okay, it's possible. You can still assess yourself. You can have your own goals. You can have your own targets where you want to be, because you still have your duties, day-to-day duties, or weekly duties, or monthly duties. Still, it's possible. So just set your own goals, set your own timeline, assess yourself, measure yourself. Where do I belong? See what value do you have to the either department level or to your manager, because the performance your manager depends on your performance as well. So you can see yourself.
We have lost you again, Grace.
That I contribute for that. So you can still assess yourself. You can still organize your goals. You can still organize your targets, and you can assess yourself, and you can measure yourself. Where do I belong? Where was I maybe a month before, and maybe 3 months later, where do I see myself? So having the performance management system or not, still you can do the assessment of your own. It's very possible. You just learn yourself, just read books on performance assessment, just talk to your co-workers, talk to your peers, and so that you can be able to know yourself. Am I performing? Am I growing? What do I need to add? What do I need to leave behind? And so longer you have a job description, so longer you have the target, so longer you are employed, you have the contribution. You have to contribute, and your value will be seen.
Thank you for that, Grace. There's a request that when you're not speaking, you can have your video on so that we can still connect and not. Actually, we say you are contacting and not connecting. Whatever you are saying, Yusuf, contacting, not connecting. Damari says leadership is as a construct will appraise you, comes with expectations to make key decisions. Influence will require serious lobbying, getting to reach the right people to get votes on key pointer of your strategy. No doubt this is in the core of corporate politics. It's indeed a leadership skill. And let me just also point out that we are on the political scene. Decisions are never made in the boardroom. We come to pass motions in the boardroom. Decisions were made in the hotel, in the golf clubs, in the restaurants, in a phone call that was made, in a breakfast meeting. That is where decisions are made. Here in the boardroom, we come to pass motions. So make sure that whatever decision you make as a HR professional, if you want your budgets approved, make sure that you have lobbied so that there's somebody speaking your voice in that boardroom. There's somebody who understands your business. In fact, last week I was challenging HR professionals, pay or CEOs, pay for your board committees, HR committee, pay for them to attend HR events. Let them go and understand HR so that when they're coming to make decisions, they just don't make decisions based on what they imagine HR to be, which is most likely administration. So make sure that you're also investing in your board members and your board HR committee so that they can support you in making decisions that are HR related. And yes, today, no pity parties today, Yusuf and Ajalo. Well, be kind. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. Like I said, next week you're dealing with your self-esteem. We must make the world a better place. So next week we have a doctor from Kampala who is coming to talk to us about building your self-esteem. And after that, we are still on Mental Health Month. Now, because we broke this one, we will be discussing postnatal depression, and we are going to support the mothers and the fathers who actually get postnatal depression after that. And Grace, are you still with us? Are you able to put on your video? Yes, we just want to see you. And I know it was getting hot and you're like, hey. We also wanted to see your reactions, right? And let's now give people hope. I mean, we have really hit the nail, but I just want to hear, so fine, we understand we're responsible, we understand the things we need to do, but just in probably a sentence or two, just sum it up for us. And probably this is the part where I'm asking for your parting shot. Just sum it up for us, and we can understand what we need to do to actually grow your careers. And of course, one of the ways you need to do is, of course, tuning into Atara Solutions every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. That will help you, even if you don't have a budget to invest in your career. We do this for free. And of course, joining us in Sagana on the 8th of July, we will be there having a conversation as well physically, and we're just going to have fun. We're going to network and connect. Yeah, make sure we are starting on connections and also just hang out together and just get to understand. And by the way, just so you know, the beauty about attending Atara Solutions events is that you're not just meeting HR professionals. You'll find accountants, you'll find marketers, you'll find board members, you'll find politicians, you'll find everyone in that room. So make sure that you join us. But at this point, allow me to ask, Ajal, give us hope on career and give us your parting shot as well.
Your career is in your hands. You know, there's a philosopher who once asked, if I have a bird in my hand, is it alive or is it dead? And the child answered, the answer is in your hands. If you squeeze it too hard, like one of our members mentioned a little bit earlier, must I take the life out of myself and take the fun out of myself to try and build a career? You might end up doing really terrible things. And there are people who they are proud. They have bullet scars and, you know, they call themselves battle-hardened, you know, boardroom generals and war heroes because they got to the top the dirty way. You don't want your career to be like that. Yes, you've got to the top, but you've left dead bodies strewn all over the floor in the corporate career world, so to speak. You don't want to be that sort of CEO because once you leave, people will celebrate. They'll eat goat's meat and, you know, chicken and whatever it is that they drink to celebrate your departure. Don't be that sort of person. Let your career transition and your career growth be organic. Let it be authentic. Bring along people as you rise. Rise by lifting others. Become a ladder to grow other people too. Become a mentor, become a coach, lift others along. Don't always make it about money. It does not always have to be about money. Some of the best career decisions you'll ever make are those that you even take a career paycheck. Sometimes, if it's necessary to do that. Some of us go for bigger brands, but do you know how toxic big brands can be? Do you know how narcissistic they can be? Because everybody's trying to cut back everybody else. So as I conclude, let your career be in your hands. If you open up your palm too far wide, the bird will fly away. If you squeeze too tight, you'll kill the bird. You'll snuff the life right out of the bird. So keep it going. And I think, Grace, with your permission, allow me to just quickly just allude to the aspects of politics and corporate politics. Now, oftentimes when you talk about politics, people think about it in the negative connotation. Organizational politics is dirty, or it's a dirty game. To a certain extent, it could be, but that's just dirty politics. Politics is about use of coercive power, referent power, expert power, legitimate power, and reward power. Reward, where you offer benefits for performing specific acts or functions beyond expectations. Coercion, where you threaten to withdraw a resource or terminate a relationship if there's no cooperation or agreement. Referent, this is what all of us can do. Position of respect that others would like to be associated with you. The moment they mention your name, they'll be like, oh, that guy is my mentor, or that lady is my mentor, or that lady, even if they've never met you. It's referent power. It's soft, influential power, but very influential, very powerful, very life-changing. Expert power, like what Yusuf was describing, the IT guy who has so much knowledge. He's young, he's inexperienced, but he's very knowledgeable. You know, when you put him on a project, the project will be concluded on time and within budget and on scale. Expert power. Then legitimacy, legitimate power. You're appointed as a head of department, head of HR. You have legitimate power. You can sign checks, you can approve budgets. And of course, reward, giving people bonuses and benefits. That's a form of power. It's soft power. You reward them. So I think that's it from me. And I want to also thank my friends from Kampala and other parts of Uganda. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much for making time to join us. Our friends from Kenya and Tanzania, asanteni sana. We really appreciate you for joining us tonight, and blessings.
Thank you for that, Adal. And this is also a question, and probably, I don't know the use of you're going to answer it. Somebody is saying, Leila Paul, what do you do when you are HR but unable to make decisions, since CEO is the know-it-all man? So you can answer that as you give your closing remarks, and Yusuf. And I like Brian, good afternoon. Brian, hey, it's been a while. Brian says the panelists have really brought the saying, new sheriff is in town to life. But go ahead, Yusuf.
Thank you so much, Grace. This is the dilemma most of managers, not just HR, find themselves in. More of, and it happens more in the corporate world, and Stana in the family business. You realize there's a way they want things to be done. And as a profession, and this is what I was taught when I was starting, was some years back, is that you need to give your professional advice and make sure that this one is written. Yeah, you give your, the same way you go to a lawyer and the lawyer will give you what we call, an opinion on any regarding to certain conflicts or laws. They'll give you. Your role is not to compete with your boss or your CEO. Your role is to make sure your boss understand why you are saying this way and not this way. You know that we waste a lot of time trying to compete. You want to show who is smart in the room. You want to show the way, everything that the boss is saying, everything that the CEO is saying, you want to, it's like you're the one who wants to correct, to show you are the smartest person. That's a big challenge for many of the leaders I know, and it has really costed them a lot. For instance, nobody, in fact, any person who has not even, anyone who is in a leadership knows or understand about constructive dismissal. They know. And they'll tell you in their, using their own words, they'll tell you what is and constructive dismissal and fair termination. They know all those things. But you realize sometimes they will want to do things the other way. So what is your role? You also try, not that you are avoiding conflicts, but you need to manage your boss. The issue here is manage your boss, explain, do a good write-up about what you're saying so that he makes a decision. It doesn't have to be you. You know, it doesn't have to be you that all the time you're the one, it's your way or no highway. No. And I think we need to learn how we can continuously engage, create those relationships with your bosses so that you can have conversation when it's heat. I mean, it's hot. You can have a conversation even in the parking lot. No, I don't want to mention in the toilet where men goes and face the wall. No. You can have a conversation anytime and bring up the issues that maybe you are not in agreement with. But just to help, because I was told when you have a patient, you don't you have to give a patient confidence so that he knows he'll heal at the end of the day. Even the doctors will tell you, yeah, they will only give you, prescribe this medicine for you, but also it depends. There are other factors that come in place. So for me, I want to give every one of us, all leaders in this call, hope that all is not gone and all is not lost, and that we can start a baby step by just coming up with what we call a personal development plan. Personal development plan, just pick 3 things. What is this that you want? Because we know, and Coach Ajala has mentioned this, I'm sure already people have done the assessment. They know, even without the software, they know this is where I'm not doing well. So can you list 3 things? Can you list just 3 things that you think you're stagnating or you're stuck or you want to overcome? Then have a start. That is a start. Then you stop and then you continue. So you say, this is what I think I'm not doing well. You take a breather. Think about it. How best are you going to change the situation? Then continue. And remember, it's a journey. These are not things that you'll do one day. I always tell people about my weight. I used to weigh 150 in 2019, but now I'm 98. If you can flip through my social media, you'll see those photos. Some people even pass me in the streets. They don't know if it's me. I took a personal decision and I said, I want to be Yusuf, the Yusuf I know, and I want to work on this. I'm not in a competition, but this is what I want to do. And there's also the element of time. You know, how long do you give yourself? Be fair to yourself. You can work with 30 days, 60 days, you know, do reviews. See, am I on the right track? Or there's something.
Yusuf.
Yes. And then now, lastly, Grace, back to the question, your career, your responsibility. I still believe this is, it's your call, and you are supposed to proactively, continuously seeking for better ways of making your career fulfilling. And remember, it's not any other person's business to ensure that you enjoy what you're doing. Thank you so much, listeners. I look forward to, I've seen somebody is asking for round 2 with Ajal. I'm ready. Grace, let me know the dates and time. Although this one was an ambush, Grace just told me this morning that Yusuf, you know, you are coming in the evening. But it's okay. We are all prepared. And Ajal, I look forward to engaging you more. Here, hapa tunasema asante sana, kwa heri. Grace?
We bado kwanza, wacha Grace aseme.
Oh, bado?
Grace hajapea.
No, for my part, si mimi nawapea.
Ngoja, usituambie bado, watu wataanza kwenda.
Okay, let me hold.
Yes, Grace.
Okay, what I can say just to advise the team, the audience, is that still there is a hope. Still you can start somewhere. It's not a sin to turn around, that you assess yourself, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Then start somewhere, look for support, look for coaches, as Ajay advised, and the team as well. And still you can have a very good journey that can take you somewhere you want to be. Always we say a thousand journey of 1,000 miles start with a single step. So you can still start somewhere, compose yourself, organize yourself, find yourself where you see yourself fitting for the better journey. Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you for the team. For Tanzania, tunasema asanteni sana. And if I get another opportunity, we'll meet sometimes.
Definitely, definitely. And yes, I ambushed Grace on Sunday and I was like, I know it's church day. Please come on board. And thank you, really, Grace. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to the team here. We have really enjoyed the session. I have had fun tonight. Honestly, I have really had fun. My intention is to make people wake up, and you should be my WhatsApp right now. Somebody's like, Grace, officially, sleepless nights are starting today. And that was the intention, because we are celebrating International HR Day. But what exactly is HR doing about HR? That is technically what we were supposed to do today. And I think we have achieved our mission for this night. So unless there's any banning something, oh yeah, maybe let me remind you, as Yusuf was talking, I remembered, just always remember as you're working on your career progression, it's progress, not perfection. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to keep moving. Progress, not perfection. Enjoy the progress, enjoy the journey, just keep moving. You will not climb a tree. I mean, when you're going up the mountain, you have to take one step at a time, one step at a time. Sometimes you're going to fall, and that's okay. Just don't beat yourself up when you fall. Dust up, pick the lessons, and then move on as you go along. So progress, not perfection. I can see your hand up, Joseph. You can go ahead.
Sorry, Grace, I know that our time is fast spent, but I feel it would be extremely unfair not to appreciate the people that I traveled in quotes, from Kampala. Members of HRMA, I won't mention all your names, you know yourselves, our fellow HR managers from Kampala, Uganda, and around Uganda, and obviously Richard Magomu in Kenya, Richard Jerican Magomu, a good friend of mine. Thanks for all the support, brother. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana. Of course,
you for that.
IHRM members as well. How can I forget IHRM members?
You're not even thanking me, Ajal.
IHRM members, you are an IHRM member, aren't you? Of course, Grace, Atara Solutions, Grace Nzula, Grace Kawogo. You know what Kawogo means in Uganda? I don't know if you know what it means. We'll talk offline. It's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful name. And thank you so much.
I'll come back to you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much. So I will do the honors of exchanging your numbers as panelists so that you can also...
Grace, wait. There's a very critical and very important group here, and a team from Think Tank. And I've seen they've been very active and engaging in this conversation. This is where I belong. And Think Tank is an association that we started just the other day to bring all the professionals in one platform. And the idea is just to ensure that we are on the same we are on the same board, and that we achieve the objective of building leaders of tomorrow. Allow me to just recognize our chair, our president, Coach Matangani Muya. We also have our able secretary, Grace, that is Damaris Dungue is here, who is also the person in charge of Blue Concept, what you've just advertised a few minutes ago. And we look forward to meet people now real face to face. When is the date, Jane, Grace? Second. Please, if you want to have a candid conversation with Yusuf Saleh and the Think Tank and Damaris and the team and Grace Nzula, please on 2nd sign up and be on the be in attendance. Where's the venue? You've not even told them the venue, Grace. Sure.
You have just forgotten. We will be at Kempinski on the 2nd of June.
Kempinski of all the places, sure.
At 2 p.m.
And yes. How much is it?
I think it's 9,500 or something like that.
Only. Thank you so much.
Sawa. So I told you guys, the team here is normally paid to talk, so they can't be here forever. And since they're not on my bill tonight, allow me to allow them to go and enjoy their dinner or whatever it is that they wish to go and do. But I really appreciate, thank you Ajal, thank you Yusuf, thank you Grace. I really appreciate your coming on board, and let's keep this conversation going, and I hope that we can have a season 2 at some point. Next week, of course, I have said we are discussing building your self-esteem. It's Mental Health Month, and we want to continue this conversation. We've covered quite a lot on mental health this month, and I know Ajal, you're passionate about mental health, but tonight, actually somebody asked what's the space of mental health in career growth and responsibility. But I think if you can go back to the sessions that we've held this month and in the past, you'll be able to catch on what's the position of mental health. But at this point in time, allow me to say thank you, Kampala, thank you, Tanzania, thank you, Kenya, thank you, anyone from across the world who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you. Thank you for always keeping it Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. we are here, and we do not take it for granted that you have set an alarm to make sure that you never miss a session. So we appreciate you for that, and we will keep making sure that we are trend setting in the spaces of business, in the employment and employer relationships. At this point in time, second, we are going to be at Kempinski, like Yusuf has said. We have the HR, CEO, and state leaders convergence roundtable from 2 p.m. and we are going to end at dinner. So that's happening on the 2nd of June. On 9th of June, we have the HR Coffee by HR Hub. So make sure that you're also signing up for that. I think it's at 680 Hotel in Nairobi. And then on 8th of July, it's the road trip. We are headed to Sagana. As in, we are so packed, you have no idea. So we are gonna enjoy ourselves in the meantime. And this is to make sure that Ajal and Grace, you can come to Kenya and also enjoy some of these things. So other than that, have for yourselves a lovely night. It's been real. Keep growing, progress not perfection. Take responsibility for your career, and we shall see you on the other side. Have yourselves a good night.